guys? Upset City here. Part 3 of Takeover the Title with my Fort Lewis team in Phelan. 0-7 start, sub 200 RPI. We're crushing it. I actually didn't even get the D plus prestige I was hoping for. I ended up going down to a D, but that's pretty negligible. So I have recorded this video already. I watched it back and I realized how choppy it was because I was doing a poor job of. I guess the situation is I'm not thrilled with how my team looks, and I'm not thrilled with how we're kind of coming along. But there's reasons why I'm not thrilled, and it comes down to player roles. I've said I think in the first video, I'm looking for like hyper efficient role players, like hyper elite role players. That doesn't mean I want a good team and then a couple hyper elite. I want my whole 12-man roster to be just like hyper elite at one or two things, and I'm kind of falling out of that. So I want to break down what the roles are, and I think this will be a really good video for a lot of new coaches. Probably more helpful than a lot of my other video or the past two videos. And then I want to show you guys why I'm struggling with my the team layout right now. So as you'll notice, this is not my Fort Lewis team right here. This is my Abilene Christian team in season 196. This is the team that ended up winning the title. Now I can't expect to have as good of a team as this, right? I was in a completely free Texas, as well as several states around Texas were completely free. So I was just picking up whoever I wanted to. I had very little competition, and I had the pick of the litter. So I will go over what the roles are, and then I'll go over the 5 players I selected from that Abilene Christian team to kind of showcase what I'm talking about when I talk about these roles. So if I was to talk about the roles, all these roles are affected by stamina and IQ. The first role will be guard skills. I want you to have elite ball handling passing. So I'm talking like 90 plus. And then I also want that supplemented by good speed and athleticism. That guy, if he can do that, I know that he's going to be at minimum, a very good backup point guard to a starter point guard, right? Again, stamina, IQ would play a part, but if he has 90-90 and then say one of these is close to 90 and I'm probably going to be taking the speed and then punting a little bit of the athleticism in press at least, where I could maybe settle with like, in press I could settle with like 50-90, where in man I'd almost want like 70-70, or I can at least tolerate that. This guy would be very good for me at point guard. I then would go to role 2, and these aren't not ranked. Like it's not like this one's more important than this one or anything. It's just down the list, just giving you a listing of all the 5 roles. Role 2 will be offense from the outside. Now, obviously, I want a lot of perimeter. That's clear. The other ones I want are ball handling, speed, and athleticism. Now, when I was being brought up by and mentored in this game, I was taught that perimeter, ball handling, and speed, it was like a 2 to 1 to 1 ratio. So like you could sacrifice 1 perimeter if it's going to get you 2 speed or something like that. But I essentially want 90, 90, 90 in these categories. A recent dev thing from like a year or two ago said that it's actually speed. It increases your ability to take a shot, and then athleticism increases your ability to make the shot. I don't know if that's true. The devs have been wrong about the game in the past because they've been wrong. I don't know if it's because they didn't play it as much or they've been wrong in the past. So I'm not going to over-fixate. I know that this combo has led to a lot of success with these 3. However, I've seen instances where I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like high athleticism did result in pretty good shooting there. So I'm putting these all 3 in the second tier. And then a third tier, and I'll show you what player I'm talking about, or some players I'm talking about, are that low post is, if I can get 90, 90, 90, ignore this because typically in D2 you have to make a couple more sacrifices, and athleticism is something a lot of D1 teams are looking for. If I can get my low post at like 20 or 30 instead of 1, the way that low post and perimeter work are perimeter helps your ability to shoot threes, low post helps your ability down low, and then as you start to step further and further away from, say, you take a layup, that's, let's say, all low post, but now you're taking like a close range too. It's going to be mostly low post with a little bit of perimeter. Mid range will be like a decent amount of perimeter, a decent amount of low post, and then a long two is more perimeter, with a little bit of low post, and that 3 is all perimeter, kind of. So a lot of times you'll see people who are like, I'll have a big man or a guard in D1 where it's like 90, 90, 91, and he's a little less efficient than you would expect him to be. So just something to consider is that low post does have some level of effect on like field goal percentages. Whereas my inside scoring, my third role, right, low post is definitely the most prominent. Athleticism, especially with the ability to draw the foul, and I believe this helps with making shot. Ball handling and speed, I've noticed, have really good benefits in scoring. I typically, if I have a good ball handling and speed guy, I throw him at the 4, and it just seems to have a lot of good success. And then free throw, obviously, because I don't want to say free throw because that doesn't affect your ability to score on the inside, but it does affect your ability to follow up with points if you're fouled. So I included free throw. It doesn't really affect that role, but it kind of does also. It's the equivalent of me saying like pass, because passing helps me, on the inside. It helps my big man pass out of the shot. That's beneficial, but it's not necessarily helping with his ability to score the ball. So I put free throw. I can honestly take that out. And the reason I put these are, I'm sorry. I should actually have probably like right here, perimeter. I didn't even think about that. We'll say like that. So perimeter, same way with the low post up here. The further away you step away from the basket, the more your perimeter kind of gets engaged. Honestly, I could probably throw like low post perimeter right there. These are subjective rankings. I'm sure a lot of elite coaches are gonna be like, well, no, speed, athleticism should be like here, or athleticism belongs in category 1, or I'm just generally giving a layout of. I'm not. This took me all of a minute. I didn't really look into anything. This is just my general perception. So if I have now an offensive inside guy who's a guard, which you'll see in a moment, I have Kells on my team. I actually will look at like 30 to 50, and I will get guys who are like 70, but 30 to 50 if at the guard spot is really, really helpful. He can score really efficiently down low, and then you would want like almost more ball handling and speed. They can almost move up to like athleticism's range. So that's role 3. Role 4 being defense. Now, defense has defense and athleticism. I could see coaches being like, well, no, it's like that. Or I could even see vice versa. I could see coaches being like, well, no, defense goes down. Or speed gets brought up, especially in D2 with press. So speed helps your ability to force turnovers. So it helps with turnovers. So that's really helpful for defense, being able to force turnovers. Maybe it's not the best for like one-on-one defender, like being able to contest a shot, but it's helpful nonetheless. It helps in a different kind of way. And then block, obviously, if this was like a big man, I'd have block like here or in the second one, but just in general, I put block a little lower because especially in press, I kind of almost look towards punting a little bit of block. Now, when I say punt, I don't mean like 1. I mean like if it's a big man, I know that a lot of people won't go for like a 50 block big man, but that guy could be pretty sick at everything else. So if he's like high speed and then he has like some of these other categories that'll help him on like his offense, he could be really beneficial. And the last role will be rebounding, and I've seen people say like it's 1.1 to 1 or 1.25 to 1 or whatever it is. I can see people saying that I could see it being a 1 to 1. I just put them in the same category because there's only 2 of them. And I could see an argument either way. Again, everything is affected by stamina. Stamina affects your ability to stay fresh longer. And if you're fresh longer, you're better at what you're doing. Like you remain better for longer in the game. And then IQ obviously is very beneficial. I think of them as like almost like little baby multipliers. I think that's all I want to say on this. So I'm going to show you some examples. So guard skills, right? Ball handling, passing, speed, and athleticism. One thing else I want to say actually. The reason, and I recently had a coach reach out to me about their D1 team, and they're like, I don't understand why I'm struggling. They had very low team ath. So athleticism was really, really low, and look how much that affects. Like athleticism, it affects his guard skills. It affects his perimeter. It affects his inside. It affects his defense. It affects his rebounding. you don't want to fixate on like, oh, I only need athleticism. That's all I need. If I load up on athleticism, I'll be good. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is ath is very important, and that's something that it becomes harder and harder to punt. Now there are instances like you'll see with this team where I did kind of cut a little bit of athleticism because in D2 especially, like if somebody's 90 athleticism and they're also like a ridiculous guard skills, they're in D1. If somebody is 90, 90, 90, 90, 30, he's in D1. So you have to find where you're taking these sacrifices. Ath can be for like your guards and a little bit of your bigs, but then you're almost looking for everything else to be kind of on overdrive. All right, so let's look at guard skills. Now that we know we're looking for ball handling, passing, speed, ath. I got Alvin Simon in RS2 when I first took over Abilene Christian. He could have even been better. I mean, his speed turned out freaking great. I did look for that trifecta of the triple greens here, and he only didn't hit on his perimeter, which is fine because once I noticed he was, I think he hit 41 or 42 is when he flipped, and he was going to be like a 69 perimeter guy. Then it's like, I don't really need you. You're low post. You're not a perfect perimeter guy. I don't need you to ever really shoot for me then. I just need you to be, luckily this turned out really well. This turned out really well. He got that really big 40 pop out of his passing. So 90, 90, 90, almost 60 athleticism. So really well rounded. And he fits that point guard role really well where he was my starting point guard into the championship. And then I'm blessed because like he had really good defense. So like now he's kind of fitting almost into two roles, right? Where he had the athleticism, speed, defense. Even though they're not in the 90s, again, some things you're just gonna have to give up in D2. So very good player, and that stamina. Like please do not underemphasize how important that is. George Meehan. Let's look at. This is defense, I think. Maybe I was not supposed to put him here. Yeah, I was not supposed to put him here. Let's get Carr. Yes, my boy. He was a junior during our run. He actually didn't even start for me. I don't think he started for me. No, he started maybe the final 6 games. So maybe he did start. He was probably, but he wasn't my leading scorer, I don't believe, despite being so ridiculous. I picked him over the other guy because the starter was just kind of great at everything where it's not achievable all the time at D2 to have somebody who's ridiculous at everything. I wanted to pick him because if we're looking at his outside scoring, 98 in that first key category of perimeter. Next are ball handling, speed, and remember, sometimes it's okay to cut because like speed's gonna help with turnovers and athleticism. If he had any higher, he wouldn't be here. So ball handling and speed, 90, 95. Like he's already on pace to be a ridiculously efficient scorer. Stamina's there. Athleticism isn't bad. He also ended up hitting a little bit on his defense. So what was he there? Yeah, I ended up getting a 38 pop out of his defense. Like he was another green, blue, and it just kind of worked out. This is probably why people avoided him. They see a guard who is lower in passing. I see it as, okay, well, if everyone else is going to leave this guy, I know he has the potential to be a mega scorer for me. So during that championship season, even though he sat on the bench most of the season, he averaged 15. I think he was in the championships averaging like close to 20. He was shooting better from 3 than most big men shoot from 2. Just a very, very good scorer. And then the next coach came in and gave him 20 when he probably could have handled like 25, 30 points, and he still would have been mega efficient. Like 46%, 47% is crazy. Now we're looking at inside scoring, right? So inside scoring, what are we looking for? We're looking for low post, and then athleticism, and then ball handling, speed, perimeter. So low post, athleticism is 70, so almost 90, 70, speed 58, ball handling 53. This guy is just ridiculous, and I found him super late in RS2, so these guys can be found. Let me see his ratings history. I think that this pushed off a lot of coaches from him, and then I was like, oh, he's actually really sick at everything else. Like, he's going to be really good everywhere else. So, perimeter is even not 1, which you see a lot in D2. You see guys who's like a 1 rating or a 2 rating. He didn't even have that. He had good ball handling and passing. His stamina was good. His free throw was fine. Like this guy was very well rounded. But if you see, I tried to really pigeonhole him into okay, low post, athleticism, speed, ball handling, stamina, and he hit all those marks. So it's like okay, I know he's going to be a hyper efficient scorer. And then look what he does in the title. He averages 61 field goal percentage. He only started the last 9 games, and granted, a lot of these were minutes against like backups and whatever, but this was about what he maintained during the championship. Is he was averaging like closer to like 13 or 14 as a starter for me, and he averaged like 60%. So just an incredible scorer down low. Now, defense. What are we looking for? We're looking for defense, athleticism, speed, and then to some extent block, but not as much. Defense, 80s. Speed is a little low. Athleticism, right? He's almost at 90. And then block, obviously, I have to make some cuts, and I really liked that stamina enough where I'm okay with cutting. And again, it is press. I don't really need a whole lot of block because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not going to get a whole lot of blocks anyway. I'm looking for turnover. Meehan was a backup for me too, but he was incredibly efficient at what he did, right? Like he was a very good defender. He wasn't coming in and ruining the game for me, especially with that kind of stamina. Like he could have started and he would have played the whole game. And then Walther, I don't know if he even started for me. He might have been okay. So he maybe didn't start for me the final 4 games, or maybe he did. I have no idea. If we're looking at rebounding, right? So he's just rebounding and athleticism. He's got the athleticism there. He's got the rebounding there. He probably could have gone higher. Good stamina, and I know that he had those good IQs because it was 196, and he was probably a junior. I mean, he must have been a junior at that point. So rebounding is a little less important again in press because I'm not really looking to win the rebounding battle, but it's good to have some rebounders, and I'm sure I recruited him more for his defense, but he kind of fit that rebounding mold. So just so you guys get an idea. So again, these are the roles. I'm probably missing something in here, but just a general idea for you to start following is try to find guys who are significantly elite at one thing and then can at least try and like fill another role as well, right? Now, those guys were all crazy good. Like, and that was the whole team. And now here's where my frustration becomes is I'm not getting those same type of hyper elite guys at Fort Lewis. I have Kells. And I think Kells is going to be a great example for this, where what role does he fit? Because with ball handling 90, you think that it would be those guard skills, but he's only going to hit, I think this just turned, so what, +7 from here, 66? 100, 66. I really would have rather had like 95, 85 like I did with Alvin, but things don't happen, sometimes you have to make sacrifices and things just don't work out that way. Then I start looking at like his scoring. He's not going to be an elite perimeter guy because I think this turned at 78. So he'll be or it should turn at 78. I'm sorry. It should turn, that should be his final. But he does have the athleticism, some good athleticism. He does have elite speed. He does have, as a down low guy, he's got the perimeter. And as a perimeter guy, he's got the down low. He's got the ball handling. He's got the stamina. So he's kind of got a lot of tools that'll make him a good scorer. Even though that wasn't my initial hope for him, I was kind of hoping that this would be like a +15 and he'd be in that 70 range. And then I'm like, okay, well, 80 average. I'm running flex, so ball handling is more important. It didn't pan out exactly how I wanted to. I think he's going to end up being a scoring guy for me. But he's not perfect. He doesn't fit a role like very cleanly. I get to some extent as a driver, I guess he does. But not as clean as I was hoping. So Kells is still developing well. Stephen Connor is now the example of what I don't want, right? Like when I got him in recruiting in I believe the first video, I had said this needs to blow up his perimeter, as well as either one of his speed or passing needs to blow up. And even if his passing blew up, he's not perfect because even if he gets a big perimeter pop, he's limited in his, I should have kept that without the tab open, whatever. He's limited in his shooting ability because his ball handling was a little lower. And now that his speed turned at 75 right away, it's going to end up at 75. He's got good athleticism. It's fine athleticism, fine speed. He's fine ball handling, fine passing. I don't like fine. I like these hyper elite guys. And I'm taking a lot of sacrifices by taking somebody like Connor, where I don't want to get fixated on like the oohs and ahs of his perimeter. It's going to be probably going to be 100 because he's grown 9 points in 2 expedition games and 7 regular season games, so 9 total games. He's gained 9 points, so I'm assuming that means he's probably going to be at 100. Uh, but I don't really care about 100 because that's not necessarily the only thing that matters. I'm taking a lot of other sacrifices in doing so. He's going to be an okay defender, but he's not elite. He can't have elite guard skills with his ball handling. He doesn't have the low post. He doesn't have. It's not even like he's a good guard rebounder or anything like that. Like he just doesn't fit a role cleanly. So I'm debating cutting Connor. But if I cut Connor, I get no resources. If I cut Fern, who I'll show you guys next, I get $2,000 back, but I may not need a role. And they're very similar types of players. I don't really like the overlap. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do that because if I cut Connor, then I'm no longer have a 3-man class, and maybe I want a senior redshirt Kells or something down the road and bring Kells into a more stacked class. Yeah, so not thrilled with Connor. And that I want to make sure that you guys understand why. It's the game over. Fern, I found at the end of last season. I almost like him more than Connor in a way, where like he's going to have, I believe, 60 athleticism, 80 speed, 60 defense. He's still going to have that 100 because he's gained 9 points as well in 9 games. So he's going to have that 100. He also has a little bit more low post, so it makes him a little bit more dynamic, I guess. His ball handling, it's going to turn soon, right? So I know that I'm only going to be able to get 12 out of his ball, 12 before it flips color. He's already at, what was this, 8? He's already at +8. He can get +4 more before it turns. So at most he's a 56. That's not elite ball handling. Like that's worse than Connor is. I don't know his passing, but I need to figure out what his ball handling is to kind of fit this scoring role. But even if it hits its max, do I really care? Like he's very similar to Connor in a way that I don't really like. He does have better speed. He will have similar, maybe a little bit less athleticism, a little bit more speed, a little bit more defense, maybe the most defense is similar. I don't remember. He's going to have that elite stamina like Connor, but he doesn't fit a role cleanly. And I really like when somebody fits one role cleanly and then is also good at something else. He doesn't fit any role, really, so not loving him either. Now let's go into my 3 recruits this past season. So, Campbell. I'll talk about how recruiting went with him. I was midway through recruiting. I was getting killed. I'll go over in a minute. I made a massive blunder. I found him late in RS1, and I saw an A+ was on him, a D2 A+, and they were moderate with no offer. Well, if you don't have an offer in, you're probably not all that committed to getting him. So I threw in a ton of AP. I unlocked him right away. I put down the promises. I spent a little bit, but only because I had extra money. And I locked him up in RS2. I believe he signed right away. He's going to be mid-60. He's going to be, 70. He's going to, hopefully his defense just keeps climbing. I really need it to. He is interesting because with 60, 70, and then also he's going to be 77 low post, 71 minimum or 72 minimum perimeter. Like that's suddenly not that bad. He's kind of unique. And it's not unique in a bad way where it's like 100 perimeter and he sucks at everything else. He's unique where it's like, I'm taking a cut on like elite. I mean, for all I know, this keeps going up and I'm sitting pretty. I'm taking a cut, say, on like ball handling and passing. But he also kind of fits like, remember I said that perimeter low post and guards, you want 30 to 50? Like he's going to be well over that. He's going to be at 77. And then with perimeter being that backup, he's going to be like, say at minimum 70. He can even reach into the 80s with a perimeter. I don't think he will be. I think he would have developed a point by now with that work ethic and the playing time. He's playing just like all the minutes, 35 minutes a game. He doesn't fit cleanly either, but he's almost, with this being so good, I'm almost okay with it, with both of those being good. And then like he also has decent speed and good, I'm a little bit more okay with him. I feel like him and Kells are very similar, where like I'm taking a cut, but not necessarily in bad ways, not in ways I prefer to make cuts, but I am also limited on my options, or I was limited. Hobson, he was an RS, so he was a projected D2 recruit. So what I did was I showed up on him first cycle. I waited to unlock him. He was an early signing, so instead of offering a scholarship, I just never offered it. I waited till the very last cycle of RS1, and I offered him the scholarship. So that way, I may have went into RS2. I may have. Because I know that I just had his 20 AP for that open scholarship just sitting there helping me in my other battles. Now, I didn't win any of my other battles, but at least I had those options available. Like I could whip around 20 and unlock somebody, or I could whip it around and go into a battle or something. So why do I not like him, right? Like he should be somebody I like, but if the block keeps growing, that's good. He's kind of a slow defender where I'm really trying to push the tempo on turnovers. He's really athletic and he's got good defense. Blocking's okay. This isn't growing at the same pace as like this, for example, and this, which tells me that this is probably going to pop soon. Just guessing. I think it has more minutes in it and it's growing slower. That's a really good indicator. That's probably not as beneficial. Now, if this was like 20, the further you are away from 50, I believe you grow slower. And that goes on both spectrums, so lower and higher, I believe. So I feel like this is going to turn soon. If he's not like 80, then it's like doesn't have any ball handling. His perimeter's okay, but like he doesn't have any ball handling. He doesn't have a lot of speed. He doesn't have a lot of those supplementals outside of athleticism and a little bit of free throw. He does have elite stamina, which is good. I don't know. He's probably I don't hate him as a backup. I do wish that he was. I just wish he was better. I don't know. That's such a stupid thing. It's like obviously everyone hopes their recruits are better. But yeah, I thought my recruiting strategy for him was at least interesting and helpful for coaches to hear. Taylor, I do like a bit more. But he's also kind of missing that, like, all right, so this just turned 2 points ago, I think. So he's going to be in the 80s or defense. He's going to be 60-something. He's going to be 54, I think, here. So between athleticism, speed, and defense, and block, he's a pretty good defender. Rebounding is really good for somebody in press. Like again, and something I'm trying to punt, he's actually not bad at it. He can't score. His bowling and passing are really good though, so I almost don't mind that he can't score as much. I need other scoring options, and this becomes like a godsend. He does have elite stamina. I do like Taylor. I had to use 20 home visits, 1 campus visit, and max promises to finally knock down the sim. I probably should have done it all in one cycle. I was kind of wasting a lot of resources by trying to go into it slow because I hadn't really done it with a D prestige, or what was I, C- or something, C prestige. He doesn't fit a role cleanly outside maybe defense and a little bit of rebounding, which I guess is also really helpful. Yeah. Now, let's see. I really don't even want to look at this guy because I know he's already progressing well. I looked the other after I made the video yesterday. Nope, this is not the guy. Okay. You can see this guy's like really close to Fern if I could. Nope, wrong guy. So he's like really close to Fern, right? So athleticism is similar. Speed will end up being about similar. Defense, he's a little bit better than Fern. Low post, I'm glad Fern already has a 68, but I haven't even checked out what this guy's doing. I went into RS2 fully committed to this recruit, and then I found Fern and was like, oh, I'm not spending any more money. I'm not spending any more money on this guy because I essentially have him right here, and he becomes a lot less valuable when it's somebody like a type of player I already have with low ball handling. Passing's good, but this guy's maybe a little bit better, I guess you could argue. Fern will be better stamina. He has better low post, so they're kind of even in a lot of ways, and I didn't really like that, so. I ended up holding on to Fern, not cutting him, because I felt like going into a role for that kind of a guy, the recruit I just got X'd out of, was just like a waste of resources on, like, essentially I'd be putting 2,000 home visits, so 2 home visits into a Hawaii kid, of course Hawaii, I'd be putting $2,000 worth of resources into a guy just to get a role, and that didn't feel worth it, so I just removed everything. I still got a role, I lost it, and I was like, nah, probably for the best. I already have him, and I'm already debating cutting him as well. So, oh joy. Okay, so I am human. I make mistakes. Uh, this was a D2 projected early recruit. Phelan opened at the same time as Knight RS2 opened. And in Knight, I had one scholarship to cut or one walk on to cut. So I was like, I have one resource opening coming in. I don't know. I think it was after the first full day, I got mixed up and started telling myself, like, all right, you have one guy you can cut. Don't spend on him yet because you have one guy to cut. Okay. I life happens. I'm going to blame it on. I just got married. I just bought a house, and I have I'm going to be going on my honeymoon for 2 weeks coming up, and I've been busy. I'm going to blame it on that. That's not what it was though. I was fully locked in. Totally forgot this guy was a projected D2. I totally forgot he was an early recruit. I totally forgot how many resources I could cut to in R2, like in RS2. So I should have been spending in RS1 because I was just going to get those resources back anyway. So when signings start, no matter what, you get that email for your GPAs. I think it's the same in 1 a day, but I know in 2 days you get an email. It's like, oh, your guys have all passed, or your guy failed, or whatever. I saw that email. I didn't see what it said. My immediate thought was, oh crap! I think I had a D2 I was supposed to spend on. I didn't, and all of a sudden I scroll down, and I also had an email from this guy saying he chose the other school, and I had lost a 60-40 as the underdog when I could have spent 10 home visits and knocked the other school off entirely. This guy would have been 90. Say one of these, I mean, these go 77. Even if it's 70-70, he's 90. He's good enough as a backup, I guess. Like, I don't have anything like this, and losing this really freaking hurt. Perimeter is most likely to blow up. He's got good work ethic. He's got elite stamina. He, like, even if his passing hits 90, his ball handling hits 70. Like, he's still 80 average. Like, I blew it by not getting this guy. I looked, and he looks like he's progressing really well, which is also really frustrating because I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't even have looked. I should have just banked on him just turning, I don't know, blue and black on everything right away, and he sucks. But no, it was a very good recruit, and I just totally brain farted on him. I don't know, like he even would have been a decent defender with 50, 65, 90, 92 speed, or 64. Like that would have been fairly good with that kind of speed at the one, just to force more turnovers, right? So big blunder on my part. I want to say that I'll get a point guard in the future, but I've already scouted for this upcoming season, and there is nothing around me. So I am going to have to debate my future based on what I'm seeing around me, I guess. And the last recruit I lost out on was, and I didn't even roll for this kid. This was, I believe, yellow. I believe this was yellow, but like these three were green, and he's already progressing pretty well. The issue is 39 work ethic, 47 stamina. If that's and it's not, it doesn't look like his stamina is progressing well so far. So for all I know, this flips right away. He's a 75. I really want my guys in like the mid 80s minimum. I'd say 80 minimum in the press that I want to run. He's running. I don't know what he's running. I don't really care either. But I offered a red shirt to make sure that all of these greens could hit as at the pace, by his junior and senior year. But also I was worried about his stamina. Like he was somebody that if his stamina turned right away, he was just gonna get cut. So I offered a red shirt. UMass came in after I think the second cycle of RS2. I'm guessing they max spent, and they just stole him from me. I didn't get a role, and good. Like he's a good recruit. He doesn't fit ideally with what I wanted, but only because of this. And yeah, so I'm lacking a lot of different areas. Like I'm lacking elite shooting. I'm definitely lacking an elite point guard. I'm lacking a lot of an elite download scorer because I'm feeling like Hobson's going to turn soon. Like I'm just not hitting the roles that I want to in a way that I normally do. And that's okay because I've also only recruited in really, really empty areas. So I need to accept that I may not, I may struggle a little bit more, right? And I have to understand that most other teams in the country are struggling, and that's normal. So hopefully that video helps on rolls. I've already scouted maybe by the end of this week because I'm about to go on a 2 week we're actually having the ceremony in Greece and then a honeymoon over there. I'll try and maybe release a video later this week on what I did for scouting. It would be a pretty quick video. Hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And any feedback, it would be awesome. And hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Later.